Today's lesson is Study Warns of Global Warming's Impact on Tropical Forests. Hi, everybody. I'm Roger.
And I'm Helen.
And today we're going to talk about a study that is warning everybody of the impact of global warming concerning tropical forests, and more specifically, about their ability to do photosynthesis. In other words, by changing sunlight into oxygen or food.
Right. Photosynthesis is the primary way in which green plants survive. It's the way they're able to produce food in order to grow. And because of global warming, their ability to do this has been affected. And this also affects the health of tropical forests.
Okay, so let's find out what this is all about. Everybody, let's introduce today's topic to you by listening to the first part right now.
Study warns of global warming's impact on tropical forests. A new study warns that climate change is reducing the ability of trees to photosynthesize. The study, which was conducted by scientists from several countries, revealed that the highest average temperature of tropical forest canopies was 34 degrees Celsius, while canopy temperatures in some areas were over 40 degrees Celsius. The researchers say this is concerning because leaves' ability to photosynthesize starts to fail at around 46.7 degrees Celsius. The study also found that 0.01% of leaves are already so hot that their ability to photosynthesize is breaking down, a percentage that will increase as Earth warms.
大家好，第一部分我们来介绍动词 conduct， 它的意思是进行或是实施。例如 The two countries conducted secretive trade talks. 那两个国家进行了秘密贸易会谈。或是 The company conducted a survey of its customers to determine their satisfaction with the products they purchased. 该公司针对客户进行一项调查，判断他们对所购买商品的满意度。接下来是片语break down， 它的意思是分解、瓦解，也可以是故障或是损坏的意思。例如 After you swallow food, it breaks down in your digestive system. 在你吞下食物后，它会在你的消化系统内分解。或者 The printer broke down when Helen was about to finish her homework. 印表机在 Helen 正要完成作业时刚好坏了。
A new study warns that climate change is reducing the ability of trees to photosynthesize. So, as we mentioned before, we have this word photosynthesis, and photosynthesize is the verb form of photosynthesis, which is the process whereby green plants produce food. So, photosynthesize is when sunlight causes a green plant to produce special substances that it can then use as food to survive and thrive.
Exactly, and photosynthesis is the process, and here the verb is to photosynthesize. And, of course, we've got a new study, some new research that has looked into this phenomenon, and they have concluded that climate change is reducing the ability of trees to do just that. They have difficulty photosynthesizing because of climate change, at least according to this study. And the study, which was conducted by scientists from several countries, revealed that the highest average temperature of tropical forest canopies was 34 degrees Celsius, while canopy temperatures in some areas were over 40 degrees Celsius. So again, this study was conducted by scientists from different countries. To conduct something just means to carry it out, you organize it, and then you do everything that is necessary to come to some sort of conclusion. So all the scientists got together and did some research, and then they came to some conclusions here. They found out that the highest average temperature of tropical forest canopies was pretty high at 34 degrees Celsius. A canopy is like when trees in a forest spread their branches out really high, and then those branches reach into the neighboring branches of other trees. That basically forms a cover over the forest, and you can't really see the space between the trees because the branches are all kind of mixed together. That is a forest canopy, and the temperature is quite high in some of them, 34 degrees Celsius. My goodness, that is hot.
Right, so they're measuring the temperatures of the canopies, and they're using Celsius as the measure. So Celsius is a scale of temperature in which water freezes at 0 and boils at 100. Another word for Celsius is centigrade, and this is different from Fahrenheit, in which water boils at 212 degrees and freezes at 32 degrees.
Right, so of course Fahrenheit is used primarily in the United States, but Celsius is used in the rest of the world, or at least most of the rest of the world. And of course, when we want to indicate that we're talking about Celsius, we do need the word Celsius. If you're in the United States and somebody says it's 72 degrees outside, well, you know that's Fahrenheit. You don't need to say so. And, of course, we've got some canopy temperatures in other areas, and they're even hotter. They were over 40 degrees Celsius. Now, the next sentence here says, the researchers say this is concerning because leaves' ability to photosynthesize starts to fail at around 46.7 degrees Celsius. So here we've got the word concerning. It's worrisome, basically. It's something we need to worry about or to think about. This is concerning. It is worthy of our attention because this temperature is getting closer and closer to the temperature where photosynthesis starts to fail, and that would be around 46.7 degrees Celsius. And if photosynthesis fails, well, we won't have enough oxygen to breathe and we'll all suffocate.
Yes, and the study also found that 0.01% of leaves are already so hot that their ability to photosynthesize is breaking down. So according to the study, a notable amount of leaves on these trees are already losing their ability to photosynthesize. The ability is breaking down. So when something breaks down, it stops working, it stops functioning properly. You can say that your car has broken down, or my bicycle broke down last week, so I need to get it fixed. Here, a process can also break down. So the study based its conclusion on a particular amount, and the amount is measured as a percent. Now, a percent is a specific part of 100. So if something is 10%, then it would be 10 out of 100 of that particular unit. And here we have 0.01% of leaves, which may seem very little, but if you consider all of the leaves or all of the trees in a tropical forest, then that number may be quite significant.
Yeah, it's quite small now, but it may get bigger and bigger as time goes on. Again, their ability to photosynthesize is breaking down, it's failing, and that is a percentage that will increase as the Earth gets warmer and warmer as a result of climate change, or perhaps as a result of the sun getting hotter and hotter as it's going to do in the next several million years.
Yes, and again, the study found that 0.01% of leaves were already losing their ability to photosynthesize. And here, note the difference between the word percent and percentage. So percent is typically associated with a specific number, and here we have a specific number, which is 0.01%. However, percentage refers to the general relationship rather than a specific measure. So you can say a large percentage of the population or a large percentage of leaves is losing its ability to photosynthesize.
At least now it's quite a small percentage, but it may increase as time goes on. Okay, we're done discussing the first part of today's lesson. Let's go on to the second part and continue to talk about this very important topic.
Tropical forests are vital for life on Earth. They currently cover about 12% of the Earth's surface, providing a home to huge numbers of plants and animals, and slowing the rate of global warming by absorbing carbon dioxide. The study's authors fear that rising temperatures and leaf loss could lead to a vicious cycle, with widespread tree death causing even hotter temperatures.
第二部分我们看到形容词 vital， 这个单字的意思是必不可少的，或是极其重要的。例如 Jane is a vital member of our team, and we cannot function without her. Jane 是我们团队里的重要一员，没有她就没有办法运作了。或是 Getting enough sleep is vital to our health. 睡眠充足对我们的健康相当重要。接下来介绍单字 vicious， 它是形容词，指的是恶毒的、恶意的或是凶残的。例如 People who don't learn forgiveness can find themselves in a vicious cycle of revenge. 不懂得学会宽恕的人会发现自己陷入报复的恶性循环。或是 Karen's vicious dog has bitten several people in the neighborhood. Karen 那只凶恶的狗已经咬了许多附近的人。
Tropical forests are vital for life on Earth. Now, that's a simple and short sentence, but it's very important and it's very significant because tropical forests, even though we may not see them every day, they are vital. They are very important for all life on Earth. And that's what vital means. It means important, essential. You need them. And if you don't have them, then you cannot survive.
Right, so of course they currently cover about 12% of the Earth's surface, providing a home to huge numbers of plants and animals, and slowing the rate of global warming by absorbing carbon dioxide, or CO2. So 12% doesn't sound like a lot, but if you, of course, eliminate the amount of space that oceans take up and deserts, 12% is actually fairly large. So, of course, we do need to take care of our tropical forests. They are vital, they are key, they're crucial for life on Earth. And again, they provide a home to all sorts of different species of plants and animals. So we have lots of biodiversity as a result of those rainforests. And if you slow the rate of global warming, then you can increase the amount of carbon dioxide that these plants in tropical rainforests can absorb. Here we've got the word absorb. That just means to suck in or to take something into its own body, like a sponge can absorb water. The dictionary sometimes says this is pronounced absorb, but I tend to make a Z sound in there, and I think a lot of people do as well. Absorb. I've heard that more often than absorb.
Yes, and here we're talking about absorbing carbon dioxide. And carbon dioxide, of course, is the gas produced when animals breathe out, or when carbon is burned in the air, or when animals and vegetable substances decay. All of these processes produce carbon dioxide.
Now, the study's authors fear that rising temperatures and leaf loss could lead to a vicious cycle with widespread tree death causing even hotter temperatures. So, yes, these are the authors of the study, the scientists that took part in this research. They fear, or they are afraid, that rising temperatures and the loss of leaves from those trees could lead to a vicious cycle. If something's vicious, it is mean, it is terrible, it's violent. But if we talk about a vicious cycle, we talk about something bad happening and then something else happening that is bad as a result, and you just get stuck in the cycle. There's really no way to get out of it. Sometimes poverty is a vicious cycle. Of course, you don't have enough money to survive, so maybe you steal money and then you go to jail and then you never really have a chance to get out of that cycle. It's very difficult if you're stuck in a vicious cycle to get out of it.
Yes, and this widespread tree death, or that's what the scientists or the authors of this study fear. Widespread here means existing or happening in many different places, or it's something that affects many people or a large group of things.
If something's widespread, it is all over the place. In some countries, crime is widespread, so the police basically are ineffective in fighting it. Or corruption might be widespread in a government or something like that. And we don't want things to be widespread or to be all over the place because that may contribute to this vicious cycle. And so we need to be concerned about this very question. Okay, we're at the end of the second part of our lesson for today. Here's the third and final part.
Thankfully, most climate scientists do not believe the planet will become hot enough to set this cycle in motion. Nonetheless, the study provides yet another reminder of the need to reduce global warming.
第三部分我们看到片语 set 或是 put something in motion， 指的是使点点点开始运转或是启动。例如 The boy pulled the string which set his toy in motion. 那位男孩拉了一下让玩具发动的细绳。或是 Ethan put the experiment in motion and recorded every detail. Ethan 启动实验并记录所有的细节。再来是单字 nonetheless， 这个副词表示然而或是尽管。可以说 I trained really hard. Nonetheless, I did not pass the tryouts for the team. 我很努力训练，然而我还是没有通过球队选拔。又或者说 The steak was a little undercooked, but it was excellent nonetheless. 那块牛排有点没煮熟，尽管如此，还是很美味。最后我们看到名词 reminder， 这个单字的意思是提醒的话或是事物，也可以是提示的意思。举例来说 My mother put a note on the refrigerator as a reminder for me to take out the trash. 妈妈在冰箱上贴了一张纸条，提醒我去倒垃圾。再举一个例子 The cheerful bird song served as a reminder of life's simple beauty. 轻快的鸟鸣声提醒我们生命中简单而美好的一面。
Thankfully, most climate scientists do not believe the planet will become hot enough to set this cycle in motion. So in the last part, we were talking about this vicious cycle. However, most climate scientists don't think that the planet will become so hot that this vicious cycle will be set in motion. Now, when you set something in motion, you're causing that thing or that process or that series of events to begin and to continue for some time. That's what set in motion means.
Right, to start something moving, basically. And sometimes you need a little bit of extra energy at the beginning to set something in motion. When I was young in high school, I interviewed the mayor of my hometown, and he used to work for the railroad. And he said that if a train is set in motion, then a person can actually continue to push it, and it will keep on moving. So you need to, of course, set it in motion at the beginning, and then you just keep pushing it, and it will move. I'm not sure if I believed that, but I guess he did work for the railroads, so I guess he knows what he's talking about, or at least he did. He probably died many decades ago. But in any case here, we're talking about the fact that scientists have concluded that, well, we do need to be concerned about this, but it's not going to be really dangerous, at least for now, because we don't really know if the temperatures are going to get that high. Some people don't believe in climate change, or maybe it's not as bad as a lot of people think. Or even if it is true, the scientists don't think it's going to get hot enough to set this cycle in motion. But nonetheless, the study provides yet another reminder of the need to reduce global warming. So here the word nonetheless means even though this is true. You could also say nevertheless. That means basically the same thing.
Right. Nevertheless, still, and even however can be used in this context to replace nonetheless. So it has all of these similar meanings. So the study provides us with a reminder of the need to reduce global warming. Here, a reminder is something that makes you remember something. It reminds you of something, or it makes you take notice of something. And the study is a reminder, or it allows us to remember that we really need to reduce global warming, even though the danger is not yet immediate.
Right. If you go for a tour in some older parts of Taiwan, like if you go to Dihua Street in Taipei, it can be a reminder of how life was in Taiwan maybe 100 years ago or so. So, yes, this study is a reminder to us, or it reminds us that we need to be mindful, or we need to remember that global warming is a concern, and this is just something else we need to worry about. And that brings us to the end of our discussion for today. Let's turn things over now to Hanny.
各位同学大家好，我是 Hanny。 我们来看今天的文法重点。课文一开始提到有一项新的研究警告，气候变迁正在降低树木进行光合作用的能力。那文中用到动词 photosynthesize 去表达进行光合作用，那它的名词是 photosynthesis， 表示光合作用。那它其实就是由 photo 这部分它表示光的，那么 synthesis 表示综合或是合成，把它组合在一起。那我们这边也来拆解一下 synthesis 的字首字根。我们先看到 syn 这个字首表示一起同时，那带有这个字首的字大多含有相同对等的意思。好，那么在 synthesis 这个字当中，字首 syn 表示一起，那么 thesis 这部分表示放置。我们把不同的东西放在一起，合而为一，那就表示综合或是合成的意思咯。我们顺便补充两个也带有 syn 这个字首的单字。第一个要补充的是 syndrome， 它的字首 syn 表示同时，那么 drome 这部分表示跑步。那当其他病症症状跟着一起跑来，应该可以联想到 syndrome 它有并发症状症候群的意思了。第二个补充的是 synchronize， 它的字首 syn 表示相同， chron 这部分表示时间，那么 ize 是动词字尾，相同时间应该可以联想到 synchronize， 它有同步同时发生的意思。好，那课文下一句提到说，这项研究由数个国家的科学家共同进行，文中是用动词 conduct 去表达进行实施。我们也来学习它的字首字根。好，那看到 duc 或是 duce 或是 duct 这一类字根表示引导、带领或是牵引，那带有这些字根的单字多半含有那种经过引导而产生某种结果的语义。我们看到在 conduct 这个字当中，它的字首 con 表示 with together， 也就是有一起的意思。那么 duct 表示 lead 带领，我们将人事物带领或是整合在一起，也许可以联想到 conduct 它有指挥引导，那它也有进行实施等等的意思。这边也补充几个有这一类字根的单字。第一个是 educate， 好，它的字首 e 是来自 ex 表示向外， duc 是引导带领，那么 ate 是动词字尾。当我们把某人引导向前，从他原本的思想框架中引领出来，向外引领出来，这样应该可以联想到 educate 它有教育或是教养的意思。那第二个补充的是 induce， 它的字首 in 表示在什么之中， duce 是引导，那合在一起 induce 它就可以表达引起、导致或是诱使的语义。第三个补充的是 deduce， 它的字首 de 有向下或完全的意思， duce 表示引出。当我们把某事物抽丝剥茧，向下一层一层剥开，逐步分析探究到底，这样应该可以想到 deduce 它有推论、推断或是推想的意思了。好，那么以上今天重点整理，我们回顾今天单字吧。
Conduct. A survey was conducted to see if students were happy to wear school uniforms. Percent. Billy got 80% of the answers on the test correct, which means that he passed. Vital. It is vital that we keep global warming to a minimum. Absorb. You can use this special paper to absorb spills in the kitchen. Vicious. The two armies were locked in a vicious cycle of killing and revenge. Widespread. The candidate has widespread support from the older population. Nonetheless. Betty can be difficult to work with. Nonetheless, she is one of our most talented performers. Reminder. The accident was a reminder of the danger of driving while using one's phone.
Discussion Starter starts now!
Here's our discussion starter. The question is, what other serious consequences of climate change do you know about?
Many people think that climate change will affect the amount of ice that's in the North Pole, in the Arctic Circle, and that's something that we should be concerned about as well, because as the ice cap melts, then we're going to have more floods and more of those types of disasters.
Okay, well, many people think that climate change will affect the population of the Earth and the amount of animals and plants that get to live. Of course, if climate change increases year by year, more and more people and plants and animals may die, and they may not be able to grow and live again, and eventually the Earth will turn into one big desert, and only the camels will be able to survive. Well, that brings us to the end of another edition of our program, and please make sure you join us again next time. From all of us here, I am Roger.
I'm Helen.
See you next time.